Good afternoon, everybody joining us today here at Live at the Waterhole. We have started off the show today at Naledi Dam over in Olifants in near Kruger National Park with some elephants. We had a bit of an elephant pool party earlier. These two little baby elephants were rolling around in the mud, slipping and sliding, having a great time cooling off in this hot summer weather that we are having at the moment. My name is Kerry Dupree, and I will be your naturalist presenter for the day. Lovely to be back. Thank you for everyone that's joining today. So, just a reminder, folks, that this is a live and interactive experience. So, you can go over and watch us on our app, or if you're watching on the website, don't forget to register, ask your questions, or head over to Twitter or X and use the hashtag. You can also use the QR code on the screen now to send through those questions, those comments. Let us know who's joining us today. Obviously, I've been away for a little while, so please feel free to fill me in on anything I might have missed from the live shows or from Live at the Waterhole. It's lovely to be back and lovely to start the show off with some elephants today. Darcy Miller, thank you for joining us. It is definitely a lovely sunny day. I must say, this warm weather here in Southern Africa is refreshing, but a bit hot as well. It would be nice if we could have a bit more rain to cool us all down a little bit more regularly, I must say. But yeah, these elephants have taken the chance to go and have a mud bath, which I must say I would love to go and have a bit of a cool off in a mud waddle, in a mud wallow. I believe Cedric had a bit of a mud bath the other day in Juma. Looked like he was having a great time wallowing in the mud. Colin Eames, one of our new members. Thanks again for joining us. Good day, good day. I hope that you are having a fabulous day and a lovely holiday season so far. Mercedes Bean, thank you for joining us. Always good to have you joining the chatters on this happy Tuesday afternoon. Catherine, welcome, welcome. Thank you for watching today. Looks like this female elephant that we've got on screen here, even though she might have a youngster, looks like she could be a little bit pregnant herself. Oh, what are these elephants up to? They were having such a great time earlier in the mud. I hope that we will get some more elephants having a pool party on this hot summer's day. Um, yeah, perfect weather for these elephants to come down and have a bit of a mud bath in the sunshine. Can see all that fresh mud glistening and glowing off their back. So again, the elephants will kind of not just use the water as a way of cooling themselves off. I mean, obviously elephants do use those big ears of theirs flapping to cool down their body temperature by flapping their ears, circulating all that blood, which cools down their blood in those vessels and the veins, and then circulates throughout the body. But mud bath is always a good way to cool off. But also with this climbing temperatures we've been having, the mud also acts as a really good protective layer, like a sunscreen, nice sunblock or zinc layer to help to protect their skin from the sun, as well as protecting them from any parasites. So most parts of southern Africa today, we're experiencing quite high temperatures at the moment of between 30 to 38 degrees. I know in Zimbabwe last week we were hitting 40 to 45 degrees. Goodness gracious me, it was rather warm. And of course, our humidity in a lot of locations that we will be visiting today in southern Africa are, yeah, shucks, between 40 to 60 degrees percent humidity. So the humidity is very high. We have a lot of rainfall around. Yeah, lots of humidity building up for all of these storms and rain that is lurking around. Look at those cumulonimbus clouds also building up as we speak. Hopefully, bringing some more rains. Just having a bit of a scan, folks, to see what else is out there. If we've got any wildlife, any activity, any movement. Oh, I've got a little warthog. Check it in. And a little baby. Oh my goodness. This is my first baby warthog for the season. How cute. Having a good mud bath, a little three-banded plover as well. Oh, how awesome to see some warthogs having a mud bath. Shame this poor female obviously hasn't had all of her babies surviving. So a female warthog can have a squeal or a little group of piglets, anything between 4 to 6 babies at a time. Unfortunately, it only looks like we have one little baby piglet with us today. Maybe the others have already been yeah, snacked on by some bigger predators. So, yeah, but luckily she still has one little baby piglet around. We'll just give them a bit of a watch for a while. This is very special. I haven't seen any baby piglets yet. So lovely to see all the little baby animals popping out all over the place. So Sanjeev Roy has sent through, we've got quite a few questions coming through here. So we've got a question from Sanjeev Roy just about elephants and female elephants, if they are starting to give birth at a younger age, and kind of, with the drought and all the rainfall, if that could be factors that influence these female elephants giving birth at young age. So yes, I definitely will agree with you there. I found it quite interesting last month in Zimbabwe. Obviously, we did also have a lot of elephants dying, females, calves. So just like any animals, when elephants suspect that their species might be a threat, there is a chance that they will actually kind of fast, their breeding cycles might become shorter and shorter. So I do know some areas in KwaZulu Natal where the female elephants realized that the males, a lot of the males had been vasectomized. So in South Africa, a lot of private reserves, you do get male elephants that will be vasectomized or given the GnRH vaccine, which helps to suppress the hormones. So these female elephants, very intelligent, realized within a few years that these big old bulls were no longer able to make them pregnant, which kind of sent them into a bit of a state of frenzy, worrying that their population might be at risk. And the females did actually start breeding at a younger age, and also they had shorter intervals between one calf to the next. So that is possible in areas that animals can be stressed or traumatized, or possibly just have some environmental conditions that might stress them. They can then give birth at a younger age in some species. So, oh, thank you for the good question there. Lovely to see. Check out this warthog. This female warthog is just living the dream, having such a great day. I think there's no better place to be on a hot day like this than in either a swimming pool. I would take a swimming pool over a muddy wallow, but aren't they having a great time? Penelope Kenyon, welcome, welcome. Thank you for joining us today. And yeah, Catherine, definitely a piggy spa for sure. Little warthog spa day. So we got another good question coming in here from Birder Chris. So Birder Chris is asking, do African vultures use smell or sight to hunt? So Chris, most vultures that we get here in Africa are generally scavengers. Although, for example, like your marabou stork, they will sometimes use their eyesight to spot out if there's any fish in drying up puddles. So marabous can hunt as well as scavenge. But vultures do actually have very keen eyesight, and that's how they will spot other vultures within a vicinity or prey or carcasses that might have died. So I won't say they use their eyesight to hunt, but more they use their eyesight. Oof. Hang on a second, folks. Something's happened. Warthog seem to have got a bit of a fright there. Were some impala also in the background? Maybe a predator of some sort has jumped out from somewhere. This female warthog does need to be very cautious and protective over her little baby. She only has one piglet left, so generally the success rate of warthogs, female warthogs, if she's lucky to raise 2 to 3 piglets for over a year, that's generally pretty lucky. Otherwise, a lot of these warthog females do lose most of their piglets within the first year. Fortunately, there are a lot of predators out there that would love to snack on a little baby warthog. Guess we all love our bacon, don't we? Especially leopard, lion, jackal. Definitely go after this little warthog if they can catch him, because those baby warthogs, they are mighty fast, I must admit. Just enjoying watching these warthogs. Yeah, rather excited about our first warthogs for the rainy season. But yeah, in the meantime, we'll have a bit of a scan on our other cameras at some of our other locations, see what else is out there. But yeah, lovely to watch this little baby warthog with its mother. Where have they gone? Goodness gracious me, this poor tree looks like it's been slightly munched on by an elephant. Still looking to see maybe if our warthogs will pop out. This is quite a busy area, lots of elephant movement through here. I'm trying to decipher what tree this is. Looks like it could be one of the Diospyruses. I'm sure the baboons were definitely feeding on the fruit. So a lot of these Diospyrus trees are fruiting at the moment. The baboons are having an absolute ball, feeding on all those lovely green fruit, munching away. We've got an Egyptian goose here at the watering hole. So while we've got this watering hole here with this kind of greenish algae, thought it'd be quite a good chance. We got a question from Darcy Miller. He's asking about cyanobacteria, which was thought to have killed some rhinos, fish eagles, and cattle in Zimbabwe recently. So yes, there has been over the last about 10 years a few outbreaks of the cyanobacteria. I think the first big outbreak of the cyanobacteria algae was with some elephants a few years ago. So cyanobacteria is a kind of phylum or a negative bacteria which does grow on the top of pans and watering holes. It is, yeah, very toxic to certain species, and especially in Botswana and Zimbabwe, there was a lot of elephants that seem to have been affected by this bacteria. So it is a bluish green colored bacteria. I wouldn't say the bacteria or the algae on this pan here is a cyanobacteria. It's definitely a very specific, very rare type of bacteria that does occur within some wilderness areas. Shame, I do know quite a lot of elephants did pass away because of the consumption of that cyanobacteria, which thank goodness very quickly vets managed to isolate the outbreak. And yeah, they had a lot of big cleanup of a lot of these pans to get rid of the bacteria, which are obviously it can also affect livestock or any other animals that do come down to a water source. So they need to consume quite a large amount of this algae within the water. And of course, it only really occurs on one side of the pan because elephants generally go and drink all over the place. Yeah, it might not always affect specific species, but elephants do get very much affected. But yeah, thank goodness it was kind of picked up and discovered. So anytime there is some suspicious deaths, it is yeah, handled and taken care of quite quickly. But yeah, quite a nasty natural bacteria that does occur within these regions. Just having a bit of a scan. Let's see. Alrighty, I think we have some elephants over one of our other locations at Tower Lodge. Why don't we check what's happening with the elephants over in Tower? Oh my goodness, folks, we have a wildebeest that's just been attacked by a crocodile. Goodness gracious me, lots of activity here. What's going to happen? Is he going to escape? Or is he going to be this crocodile's dinner? Oh my gosh, folks, oh my gosh, look at this. Don't see this very often. Now this, I think the water is quite shallow, so this wildebeest does have a small chance of escaping from the deathly lock of this crocodile's jaws. But if he doesn't get out there quickly, this crocodile is going to bring him into the water and could very quickly suffocate this poor wildebeest. But these crocodiles here at Tower Lodge do need to eat as well. What's going to happen? Is the wildebeest going to escape, or is the crocodile going to have a large lunch? I think the crocodile is at a slight disadvantage here, folks, because the water is not quite deep enough. Oh, goodness. Oh, shame. Poor crocodile. I'm delighted the wildebeest didn't get eaten. Yeah, so wildebeest gets to live another day, but this poor crocodile will go hungry another day. It's a circle of life, but yeah, shame. I think that poor crocodile was slightly disadvantaged because yeah, he didn't have enough water to suffocate that wildebeest. So if there's enough water, as long as the crocodile can bring his snout under the water, he can suffocate his prey. But this water here does not look deep enough. But how exciting was that? We just witnessed a almost crocodile kill. Well, shucks. How exciting at Tower Lodge today over in Madikwe Game Reserve. Lady Macbeth, thank you for your comment. Everyone's sending through comments. Darcy Miller, Mercedes Ben, very exciting. Yes, Joanne Miller. Yeah, don't see crocodile kills very often, so very exciting. We'll have a look, see which crocodile is this. There are three crocodiles that I know that hang out at this pan here at Tower Lodge. They're quite big crocodiles, I must say. It's definitely fully grown adults and very capable of taking down a wildebeest of that size. But I think his disadvantage was he had not enough water to bring this wildebeest down. So the wildebeest was still standing in the mud there. So, but rather exciting, rather exciting. How cool! What an awesome sighting for this Tuesday afternoon. Sandy Franklin, thank you for sending through your comments. So thank you, Nadine, for changing over for us. We were just coming to Tower Lodge to have a look at these elephants that Nadine had spotted for us, and then all of a sudden, all the activity started breaking loose, and I think an unsuspecting wildebeest almost fell victim to that crocodile. How exciting! Spicy Incov, thank you for joining us. We've got lots of comments coming through here. Penelope Kenyon, yep, that wildebeest. I'm sure he's going to have quite an injury, bit of an injury there on his muzzle, his snout. Luckily, the end of their snout like that is mostly bony. Obviously, they do have a bit of tissue at the end there, but they are very resilient wildebeest, so I think he'll be fine. He might get, yeah, at the most, might get a little bit of an infection, but I think it's nothing too serious that he won't manage. to overcome. I'm sure that wildebeest is just rather relieved that he has escaped. Imagine being trapped in a crocodile's jaws. I definitely think if you escape from that, you will have, yeah, a lot of bucket list things to do in life afterwards. But yeah, rather exciting, rather exciting. David Thompson, I agree with you there. I think we're all quite in quite a state of shock, I must say. Didn't expect to see a crocodile kill today, but that's what's exciting about being in the wilderness, is you never know what to expect. Oh, so there's crocodiles that we have here at Tower Lodge. I think the biggest one looks like he's probably about 5 or 6 meters. And yeah, there's three big boys that like to hang out here. Probably three big male crocodiles. I don't see this being a very fruitful nesting ground for female crocodiles. So generally, female crocodiles like to be in areas where they have, yeah, a good advantage from having their nests. So generally, they like to have nice soft sand banks. So one of our location on the Olifants River is perfect for female crocodiles to nest. Whereas here at Tower Lodge, it seems to be quite rough terrain, quite rough and rugged terrain. So I don't see females being able to nest here successfully. There's also a lot of activity, lots of elephants coming down to this pan, and of course, yeah, lots of wildlife, lots of foot traffic. So probably not the best place for a female crocodile to hang out. But yeah, our three big crocodile males, good to see that they are still around. Sandy Franklin, yes, that is excited that we managed to see this incredible crocodile sighting, and it was your first crocodile, almost crocodile kill and fight. Yeah, surely do not see something like that every day. So a little bit of excitement to keep us on our toes for the day. And yeah, anyways, let's see what else is out there today. So, before we head over to one of our other locations, we're just going to have a bit of a scan, appreciate what's happening here at Towel Game Lodge. So, we've got some zebra in the background there that are also looking a bit nervous and flighty, possibly after all of the excitement of that crocodile attacking the wildebeest. I'm sure they're going to be ultra nervous. Got our big elephant bowl having a nice midday drink as well. We had some waterbuck as well. We've got our common moorhens here in the water too. But yeah, Shem, those crocodiles are probably getting a bit hungry. I mean, a big crocodile like that will only have to make, if he did manage to kill that wildebeest, a big crocodile would only need to eat once every couple of weeks, or if he gets enough food in, once every about 5 or 6 weeks or something like that. But of course, if they're only eating a small amount of food, then they would have to eat more regularly. But they've kind of just come out of the state of, they do go through periods where they go through almost like a topaz state where they don't necessarily need to eat as much in the winter. They survive off of their own body fat. But obviously, this time of year, once all the watering holes and pans start filling up and summer arrives, this is when they need to start hunting again. But yeah, I definitely do think that that crocodile maybe didn't bite off too much that he could chew, but yeah, unfortunately, his environmental conditions were not quite in his favor. Wow, what an epic sighting! I think we'll just enjoy watching this elephant having a drink. Maybe see what's going to happen with the zebra coming down. I don't think this crocodile would be brave enough to try to make another attack in the same spot. He's kind of already given away his position. Everyone knows he's there. Um, but yeah, who knows what might happen. The waterbuck are a little bit wary and a bit cautious. They all know that crocodile's lurking somewhere there. So it is nice to see that Madikwe Game Reserve has got a bit more rain. It is looking a tad greener than last time I saw Madikwe. Sorry, folks. Looks like we've linked over to Rosie's pan. To two big elephant bulls also enjoying a midday mud bath. As we mentioned earlier, there's been quite a few hot days here in southern Africa, so I'm not surprised these elephant bulls are coming for a good cool down in the pan. I've actually seen this pan here at Rosie's completely filled with a herd of buffalo before. Must have been over 60 to 80 buffalo inside the pan. You could barely see any water. It was crazy. They'd obviously come down to the watering hole after a very long day walking through the bush, very hot, and yeah, all just went straight into the watering hole. Shame there was no animals could get past these buffalo. They took over the pan completely. It was definitely out of order for any other animals in the area. Seeing as we were busy talking about crocodiles, so some of the largest crocodiles measured have been up to 20 feet, or about 6 meters, just over 6 meters, and weighing about 2,370 pounds or 1,000 kilograms. So these are some of the largest crocodiles ever caught in the Philippines in 2011. So managed to catch this massive crocodile. Most of the crocodiles that we see here in Africa are between, so easily between about no, 4 to 5 meters. I don't think I've ever seen a 6 foot crocodile. No, they definitely are out there, those monsters lurking in the shallows. Spas Yankov, yes, I have seen a crocodile taking a baby waterbuck, so it is a bit of an easier prey subject for a crocodile. They'll often take baby waterbuck, baby impala, even a baby zebra. Again, any unsuspecting. Oh, we have a hippo here too, folks. Got our little hippo friends still in Rosie Pan. Have a look on the right hand side and other side of the elephant there. Not phased at all by these elephants. So Limbury, thank you for sending through your comment. Apparently these crocodiles did also have a go at some zebras at the Tau Lodge in the exact same spot last week. So I won't be surprised. These crocodiles have probably gone quite some time without food. The water has been way too shallow at Tau Lodge there for them to be able to hunt. So I guess with a bit of rainfall, they are getting a bit more confident and trying to catch themselves a meal. Why don't we have a bit of a quiet moment just to enjoy these elephants while they enjoy themselves in this pan? Whoops, a little bit of elephant politics there. And our hippo friend is still completely undeterred. So you'll often have forms of dominance displays between these elephant bulls. Yeah, you get these elephant bulls that will hang out in like little bachelor herds, and yeah, they do have scraps from time to time. Everyone always needs to know their place. and yeah, obey the chain of command. So from time to time, they will fight with one another like this. So a few more comments coming through. The bodyboarding guy, thank you for sending your comment. And yes, I am so delighted that we are now Wild Earth is now back on DSTV. I must say, I know there's a lot of people super happy that we now have Live at the Waterhole and the live safaris are back on DSTV. Super excited. During my time away, I had some safaris, but also a week spent with my family, and of course, Wild Earth is on the TV playing non-stop 24 hours a day. So yes, I know a lot of people super excited to have Wild Earth back on DSTV. Look at these guys. Hello, boys. Sandy Franklin 69. So the elephants don't necessarily need to be afraid of crocodiles. So they are not, don't fall into a crocodile's, yeah, prey species. Although elephants do have to be very careful of their little ones. So when they have little babies, they surely do keep them very close by, especially crossing rivers. Um, Seen elephants crossing big rivers like the Zambezi River or big dams as well in South Africa and other river systems. So they do have to be very wary. Keep those little baby elephants of theirs close by because crocodile will take a chance to go for a little baby elephant. Although, in saying that, a few weeks ago at Tower Lodge, we did have a little baby elephant that was swimming right next to a crocodile. So, again, nature does surprise us all the time. So yes, Spas Inkov, I have seen elephants swimming quite a lot. As one of, for me, it's a very special experience to watch elephants playing and swimming. So they are actually very good swimmers, very adapted to swimming and playing in the water, especially big bulls, big elephant bulls. Oh, they love playing in the water with one another. It kind of brings you back to your childhood and these elephants. Imagine these giant elephants playing with each other in the water. So often they will actually cross river systems so in order to get from one side to the other, but yeah, they are also very well adapted for diving, and of course they use their trunks as like a snorkel, so they'll be floating, and then if they have to go under the water they'll often use their trunks as a snorkel, which is very cute. But one of my favorite memories of elephants crossing river systems is when they're generally, they'll cross in a single file line, and the babies will always hold onto the mother's tail. So often, when crossing, especially big water systems, you'll get these elephants that are all interlinked, trunk to tail, especially the little babies. And yeah, they do get quite distraught if they lose the baby in the current. But yeah, generally they are very good at swimming and they can hold their breath for quite a substantial amount of time. My goodness, this elephant's coming for his close up. So obviously, because elephants are quite well adapted for swimming, they can actually hold their breath underwater for anything between about 90 seconds, 60 to 90 seconds underwater while spraying, while playing and swimming from one area to another. So, yeah, you don't think that an elephant would be good at swimming, but they actually are very seasoned swimmers, elephants. So, Catherine, thanks for sending through your comments. So Catherine is asking if maybe these two elephant bulls are angry at one another that they can't get this hippo outside of the pool. That could be a theory, but this hippo doesn't seem phased at all. I think it was probably more of a dominance display between these two big males. Often, what will happen is one big bull will forget that he is, yeah, not the big boss or the big chief in the bachelor herd, and might just need to be put into his place. Same as baboons. Oh my goodness, baboons. When you hear a young baboon wailing and squealing for his life, it's generally when he's been caught by the big male of the troop. Getting up to nonsense. Let's head over to Tower Lodge, folks, see what's happening. Okay, we have our crocodile, and he looks very hungry. There's a water buck is approaching. Let's see what's going to happen. I do think the water buck knows the crocodile is there, though. He's being a bit brazen. Hmm. This water buck 100% knows that that crocodile's waiting for him. He's like, yeah, I'm not going to drink here today, folks. I'm going to go drink somewhere else. Ooh! Oh, love is in the air, it seems. So it looks like we have, yeah, a crocodile bonanza day today. It seems to be going crazy in the crocodile world. We had a almost crocodile kill earlier, and now it looks like we have some crocodiles mating. Again, it could be mating or could be a dominance display, but yeah, maybe holiday season is upon us. Everyone's feeling rather festive. Maybe these crocodiles are wanting to make the family bigger. So it's quite interesting. A crocodile mating display. If you've never watched it before, I would definitely recommend going and giving it a Google. Crocodile mating display. They're actually really cool how the male tries to attract the attention of the female. So just this male is in this position now with his head up out of the water and his body in the water and tail slightly out of the water. So he's kind of got a dip in his body in the water, and he actually makes water bounce off of his back. So vibrations through the scutes and scales in his on his skin make the water vibrate and actually bounce. So he's got this like kind of like a sprinkler display off his back. It's very unusual. It's difficult to explain, but I would definitely recommend going and giving it a Google. Crocodile mating display. Let's see what's going to happen here. So just as with many creatures, so do reptiles need to win the affection of the females before they gain access or right to mating. And this courtship display can actually last quite a few hours. And the male will generally mate with this female several times in order to make sure that she is definitely fertile and pregnant, and he's implanted his seed within the female before so that she may lay fertile and healthy eggs. All right. We'll keep an eye on these crocodiles, see if there's any activity. We can always come back. But we have a very cool bird over at Safari Hook, a little dwarf bittern. So for those birders, get your birding list ready. Let's go to Safari Hook and check out the little bittern. Oh my gosh, he's also hunting. Check it out. What is he hunting is the question. It could be a fish. So this is a quite a tiny, compact, dark bittern, slaty grey on the upper parts, pale underparts. Oh, he caught himself a little fish. So hunting season for birds of prey, well, aquatic birds like this is definitely an all-you-can-eat buffet. Lots of fish around, tadpoles. Oh my goodness, these tadpoles all over the place. Would be a nice little snack for a bittern. Yes, a lot of the creatures at our locations are hungry today. We almost had a crocodile kill. Now we have a little bittern making a kill. So these bitterns will walk along the edge of muddy banks, and yeah, that's where they'll be their hunting ground, where they'll be searching for any little mollusks, fish, tadpoles. This is very similar, this dwarf bittern, to the striated heron, but it is quite a lot smaller and shorter, and of course a lot darker on its neck. So it's generally found in very heavy vegetated wetland habitats, and it can also include ponds, swamps, and sometimes even mangroves. Let's see if he's going to make another kill. Very stealthy. It is very cool watching this little bittern hunting here. I don't often see them hunting. Very stealthy. Looks like he's having quite a successful morning, this little bittern. How cool is this, folks? So, just having a quick check to see what else the dwarf bittern also feeds on. So, I thought it was mostly aquatic creatures like fish and tadpoles. Apparently, these little bitterns do also feed on, and during hard times, they will also feed on insects, grasshoppers, water bugs, spiders, and even crabs and snails. He must be a bird of prey or something. Look at him. He is definitely eyeballing something up there. So again, these little dwarf bitterns, because of their size, they do need to be careful of bigger birds of prey. He could be snatched up by a snake eagle or bigger bird of prey, like even a gymnogene would eat a little bittern. Or if a fish eagle was going by, fish eagles often feed on smaller aquatic birds. Does have to be very alert and aware of what's going on around him while hunting. Oh, but a dragonfly, I'm sure these bitterns would also feed on dragonflies. Or the little aquatic bird species can be quite adaptable during the dry season. So Spas Inkov, thanks for your question. So dwarf bittern, oh, there we go. Could have also been looking at the giraffe coming down for a drink. So thanks for your question, Spicy and Carve. Dwarf Bitten, I don't think I've seen one on live at the waterhole. Of course, I have. It is on my life list. You could see Dwarf Bitten over at Tower Lodge. We have had a night heron sighting at Tower Lodge, which was also pretty epic. Last month was one of my birding highlights of the month, I must say, on live at the waterhole. Again, any environment, as long as it's swampy enough food, enough water, you could probably get these dwarf bittens at pretty much any of our locations. I would have never thought you would have got one. These bittens would be able to occur here in Namibia. It just shows you how resilient these little species are. Got some, looks like two male giraffe coming down for a drink. Whoop. R. Laura Moore, thank you for your comments. Yes, this little bittern is rather stealthy as he very sneakily walks through the water. Very interesting to watch him feed, watch him hunt. Crocodiles. What's happening here? We also had some blacksmith lapwings over at this location also a few weeks ago. Lara Moore, thank you for your question. Yeah, the bittern, I don't think the dragonflies would lie on him, but again, I definitely do think, or come and sit on him, I do think if he had the chance, that bittern would definitely munch on a little dragonfly for lunch. Got some gemsbok or oryx, also come down for a drink. Yeah, apparently Namibia has had a few mils of rain, but yeah, shucks, Namibia does experience under 200 mils of rain per year, which is not a lot of rain. So um, good to see a little bit of greenery here in Namibia, but yeah, I know most of our locations we are still waiting for a bit more rain to get everything lovely and lush and green again. Oh, we have one oryx here that is missing a horn. It looks like his yeah, they can often break off their horns, these oryx, while fighting, or even possibly while running through very thick and dense vegetation. Wouldn't be surprised. Some of those areas in Namibia, if they do break off their horns again, it's very dry in Namibia, very harsh environment, and especially the bulls, when fighting with one another, they can from time to time lose their horns, or I have seen a few oryx with deformed horns as well. So a horn that might be completely slanting off at a strange angle. And yeah, that can be a deformity from birth as well. Some of these oryx are looking a little bit ribby, a little bit thin. Of course, that is normal for this time of the year. Yeah, just come through a very, very harsh dry season, but yeah, the rains are upon us, and yeah, hard times should be coming to an end. Although these oryx are very well adapted to surviving for long periods of time without food or water. Oh, nice to see a big herd of zebra, a dazzle of zebra coming by. Still looks hot, still looks rather hot in Namibia. Wonder when they're going to receive some more rains, fill up some of those salt pans. Isn't this a lovely view, these oryx? So, just having a look at the weather here, it doesn't look like Namibia is expecting any rain anytime soon, at least for the next, shame, 2 weeks. Not much rainfall is predicted in Namibia. Hopefully, we'll pray that they do receive some rainfall sometime soon. Oop, got a springbok also joining us here. And this oryx also looks like he's broken his horn, and another oryx has a bit of a not so straight horn. Again, I think it could be deformity. Again, sometimes when the horns are being formed, if they have any kind of injuries to the base of the skull, when their horns are actually coming out, it can also cause injuries and can cause the horns to, from times to time, not be exactly symmetrical. Neil Hunter, thank you for joining us today, and I'm so glad that you have registered on Wild Earth. Welcome to the Wild Earth family, and I hope that it will be, I hope you'll be with us for some time. We have quite a huge community of Wild Earth followers and chatters and viewers that, it's definitely a lovely community to be a part of, and very grateful for all the information that we learn every day from each other, a lot of the viewers. So it's great to have this community of Wild Earth viewers. I must say, it always keeps you very fresh, not fresh, but very up to date with a lot of wildlife. Comings and goings on the locations, but always good to learn from one another. So it looks like these Orexia are feeding on a mineral block or a salt lick. So often people will, on private reserves, they'll put out these mineral blocks or salt licks at pans in areas like Namibia, where a lot of animals dehydrate very quickly. Drinking, licking these salts is very important to rehydrate and replenish their bodies of minerals and salts. Sandy Franklin, I agree with you there. Those horns of these oryx are quite nasty. So very similar to how the horn structure of a sable are. Sable have kind of backward pointing horns. Can be very deadly for a predator like a lion. If a lion were to jump on the back of one of these oryx, I would not want to get my eyes poked out by those nasty long horns of theirs. Again, very good defense mechanism for animals like antelope, like the oryx. These look like two rather pregnant females, so that's why they're getting their full dose of minerals for the day. We're just watching these oryx here over in Safari Hook in Namibia. It's great to see that, they've got some salt licks out here for them. Although in Namibia there are a lot of minerals and salts in the soil, so sometimes you'll find the animals just kind of licking away at the sand. And they are not just, they're not going mad, I promise you. These antelope will be feeding from the salts and minerals that are available in the soils, generally at what we call a sodak area. So I think this is an artificial or a man-made salt block, but from time to time you do get these natural sodak areas, which are generally protected areas in game reserves. So if you're ever on a game drive, please do not encourage your guide to drive across these salt licks or salt blocks or mineral areas, because they're generally very important to the natural environment and must be protected at all costs in order for the animals to have enough minerals and salts. Sounds like, could it be our giraffe having a bit of a drink, maybe? See the mirage here. Okay, it must be a very hot day in Namibia. This mirage kind of gives off an illusion or appearance of a mirroring effect, or kind of, yeah, very much blurs a vision of objects and the heat that's just rising from the ground. So this is still very hot in Namibia. And yeah, it gives you this mirage kind of illusion. And it's all caused by the bending and reflecting of light. So I'm just going to have a bit of a scan to see what else is drinking from the watering hole. Maybe it's an elephant. Sounds like it could be an elephant having a drink. Let's have a look, see what else is happening here. We have a little springbok friend that's still around, probably a little male springbok. And yet, oh, there we go. Here's our elephant friend. Thought there might be an elephant close by. Isn't this a beautiful scene? Got our big elephant bull having a midday cool down. We've got a abdim stalk on the tree on the left hand side, some blacksmith lapwings, and I think a darter also on the little bank there, or no, cormorant. Oh yeah, we've got our abdom stalk. It's hanging up in the tree there, and our big elephant bull that's giving himself a nice scratch on this hide. I hope he does not break the corner of the building. So why don't we go and check out one of our other locations, folks, and see what's happening over at Lintore. See if we can catch some birds there. Maybe our little squirrel friend comes down. And there's our little cormorant. Alrighty, folks, if we have any birding experts, now is the time to shine, because we do get quite a lot of very interesting little birds here at Lintore that some of them are not really familiar with. So if we have any birders, please feel free to let us know if you see any interesting birds here. Otherwise, I have a nice big bull impala ram. It's looking like he's in great condition. We've got our, looks like the superb starlings there. Oop, some little wax bills. Could be 5 finches of some sort. Cool. Let's have a look. See what have we got here. Now, this is a very popular spot for the birds to come and have their midday little swim. Aren't they cute? Give them a bit of a listen. So there are some 5 finches and wax balls that do occur in this area. This could be the African 5 finch. It looks like these are the males on the right, and now we've got some females on the left. They just joined. Aren't they adorable? Generally, in the 5 finches, you'll find females are often a lot more brightly colored than the males. No, sorry, these males are beautiful as well. So, yeah, the African 5 finches are 3 males there, and it looks like we've got 3 females. Oop, looks like we've got a little blue emerald spotted wood dove that has come to join. Oop, and now a starling. I think it's a superb or splendid starling. Lovely new bird as well. Superb starling. Check how beautiful that coloration. I love the rufous underbelly as well as that little white line. And of course, you've got the beautiful starling coloration. It's like emerald. Oh, check at that. Isn't that a beautiful sighting? Very long. So this bird does have very long, quite a long longevity. So its lifespan, it can live anything between 10 to 15 years. They do have quite a long lifespan, generally occurring in most parts of East Africa. Yep, he goes. Superb starling there, an emerald spotted dove, and looks like the African firefinch. So R. Lara Moore, the reflection here is really good. Thank you to our Zoomy that is doing an incredible job on focusing on these tiny little birds. And it's not the easiest task to get these little birds in focus. So, Bill, thank you for your comment about the red-billed firefinch. Yeah, like I said, I'm not 100% familiar on all of the birds at this location. Still learning quite a lot of new birds over in Kenya. So, please, if we have any Kenyan bird experts, please feel free to send through those identifications. Neil Hunter, thank you for your comment there. They're very adorable. Lovely to see these birds coming for a little bit of a dip. Just going to have a bit of a scan. I heard a lowry of some sort, and there's a very special lowry that occurs in Kenya. I'm dying to see. Maybe he'll come down. Isn't this view amazing? Beautiful. What else is around? We do often have a tiny little squirrel that often comes down for a bit of a drink. And I feel like this is a good spot for caracal. For some reason, I feel like one day we're going to get a caracal coming out here. Like common sparrows or house sparrows also coming down for a midday drink. So generally you have a peak period when birds like to come down to the watering hole for a bit. Oh, we have some baboons. Chakma baboons. Isn't this an awesome sighting of these baboons coming down? The image quality on this camera is impeccable. Thank you very much to our very dedicated Zoomy, getting us an amazing view. generally be peak periods where birds and baboons will come down to drink. So generally, it's early in the morning, midday, and later in the afternoon. This is for water dependent species, whereas you do get some species that are not water dependent at all, like our little steenbok that and your common duiker or grey duiker, for example, that can go days on end without drinking a drop of water. So they'll obviously be more focused on looking for foods that are very high water content. Sorry, folks. I think we had a bit of signal challenges with Lentore, so we've come over back to Safari Hook here in Namibia to visit our giraffe friend that's still around. He looks like he has three very unusual spots, very dark spots on his left side. And we still have our abdomen stalk that has come down for a drink. Some very beautiful scenery today, so very beautiful views. Lovely with this giraffe in the background and this abdomen stalk having a bit of a midday search for his lunch. Julian Thomas, thanks for the confirmed ID on that data. Seems like it's been nesting there for a couple of weeks now. I think I've seen it quite there quite often. A few times, yeah. He normally hangs out with those blacksmith lapwings on that little island there. Julian Thomas, if you know where this darter's nest is, please feel free to let us know. I haven't seen where his nest is. That would be pretty cool if we could try and find this little darter's nest. And it sounds like we have an elephant that's come back to visit the pan, making quite a racket. There's our elephant bull that's come back for a visit. So we're talking about this darter, this African darter that's at this pan here, and I'm very curious to see where his nest is, because generally these darters they do build nests from sticks, often in taller trees. So maybe there's one of these dead skeleton trees here that might have made a good nesting spot for this darter. So I wonder where this darter's nest is. Generally, these darters will lay anything between 3 to 6 eggs, and often they will nest in colonies. So they'll also nest in colonies with herons, egrets, and cormorants. I know you get these nesting colonies along some riverbanks where you get, oh my goodness, during the nesting season, it is rather loud, lots happening, all the birds all squawking. You even get pelicans might nest in these big colonies as well. It's great for numbers. The more birds, the more protection, the more difficult it is for predators to come and steal any of the chicks. I know the darters in many African cultures, especially in Zimbabwe, are known as the snake birds because they do look kind of snake like as they move through the water with their necks above the water like that. It can give you quite a bit of a fright if you are paddling by and this the snake bird comes past, a little darter to give you a bit of a fright. Laura Moore, I agree with you there. This is a beautiful view of this elephant with this skeleton tree. The images really a privilege to be able to sit here and watch live at the waterhole from our homes, the comfort of our homes. Because I must say, I don't think I would be too delighted to be sitting in the Namibian heat at this moment, sweating like these poor animals are. We've got our one blacksmith lapwing on the left, and I think there's our African darter on the right hand side, a bit of a nap. So these darters, unlike many other water birds, their feathers uh, actually do not contain any oil. They are not actually they actually have a waterproof layer. Many of birds or many bird species do have what's called an oil preening gland, which they use to actually preen and clean their feathers, giving them a waterproof layer. Whereas these darters, they don't have an oil preening gland, and that is how they are able to be so buoyant in the water. Otherwise, they'd probably just float all over the place, which would be not very useful considering these darters need to spend quite a long majority of their life is spent underwater hunting and fishing. They're very good divers and very capable swimming underwater. Alrighty, I think we have some visitors over at Naledi Dam. Let's see what's happening over at Naledi. So we have two very mischievous looking elephant bulls that have just arrived at Naledi Dam over in Olifants Game Reserve. I think they've drunk all of the fresh water out of this water trough. Um, this elephant bull looks like he's going to give himself a lovely bottom scratch. We did have a female warthog earlier. If you've just joined us on the show, we have had a little warthog that was here earlier today, having a bit of a mud bath. So lovely to see my first little baby warthog of the season. Before last month, I actually saw the first little baby impala, also of the season, out at Tembe Elephant Park. So it was lovely to see little baby impalas. Yeah, it must have dropped quite early in Tembe because even in Zimbabwe, I was yet to see any baby impalas over in Zimbabwe on my last safari. But Tembe has seemed to have had quite a good rainfall last year and throughout the year. So yeah, it seems like they had perfect conditions for the impala to start dropping earlier than usual. We do have a migratory bird that's calling in the background here. I want to say it sounds like a Deirdrix or Levian's cuckoo. Or the oh no, actually it is. It's actually a fork-tailed drongo mimicking a Deirdrix cuckoo. So yeah, you have to be careful of those fork-tailed drongos. They can be very good mimics, and they can mimic up to 10 different calls. So yeah, I've heard these drongos mimicking pearl spotted owlets. I've heard them mimicking shrike. So you have to be very careful of those fork-tailed trongos. Let's have a listen to the trongo. It's been quite exciting, I must say, on my last safari. Yeah, hearing all the cuckoos coming back, all the migratory birds was rather exciting. So yeah, I got a little bit excited with this fork-tailed drongo. I thought he was mimicking a Levian's or Diedrich's cuckoo, but realized that it is only a naughty little drongo. So yeah, I think the cuckoos that I've been hearing recently over in southern Africa. So we've got the classless cuckoo have come back. I've heard the black cuckoo, um, the emerald cuckoo, and also the dusky long-tailed cuckoo, which is one of my nemesis birds. That dusky long-tailed cuckoo, I must say. Let me find the call for you. You hear them calling quite often, but to actually see them, oh my goodness, it's a bit of a mission. See those little dusky long-tailed cuckoos? Alright, I'm going to play this call of this dusky long-tailed cuckoo for you. And yeah, like I said, it's one of my nemesis birds. Oof, drives me mad from time to time. You cannot see them. Very difficult to spot. So a lot of the cuckoos are very conspicuous. They'll often sit up in a high tree, very well hidden, in order to hide themselves from being seen. But this dusky long-tailed cuckoo will often sit at the edge of a forest, and again, very well hidden. They often have their backs facing you, so it's very difficult to see them. You only really see them when they flush out and move from one place to the other, if the males are in a territorial spat, should I say. And this dusky long-tailed cuckoo is a very darkish grey cuckoo with quite an unusual long tail, barred underparts, and generally found in the understory and middle level of very humid rainforests. They are a very common cuckoo to hear year-round in the Congo or the Congo Basin. And very difficult to see, very similar to the olive long-tailed cuckoo. Yeah, so they do make these different kinds of vocalizations. But yeah, to get photos, if you're a photographer, you're trying to get pictures of these cuckoos, I have all the sympathy in the world for you because it is not easy to get a photo of a cuckoo. Catherine, I'm glad that we are giving you a very good distraction from doing your taxes. Nothing worse than having to do taxes and comply with the tax season. So I'm glad that you are having a great time watching and getting distracted with all the birds and wildlife. So we're just having a scan. It could be something inside these skeleton trees. Often find in the holes, cracks, and crevices of these old trees little squirrels. You could find a little snake of some sort, little creepy crawly creatures that do move around. This elephant is rather itchy. So, Bill, I agree with you there. This trough was very well designed. The elephants are very famously known for breaking water troughs, one, and pipe, two. Oh, goodness. He has a rather scratchy, itchy bottom, this poor elephant. So, yeah, trying to design a trough that an elephant will not break is quite a task, I must say. They are quite destructive from time to time, and especially getting access to fresh, clean water. Looks like we've got something in the water on the left hand side there, just on the pan. I wonder what that could be. So yeah, this is a very well designed trough, although it is a bit small, so it can cause some conflict when lots of elephants come all in for a drink at the same time and cause a little bit of conflict because not much. Sounds like there's another elephant coming in for a drink as well. This elephant could be an individual that they might already know. Maybe he's also showing non-dominant behavior. That's why they've allowed him to come and drink with him at the watering hole. A younger individual. Oh, seems like time for all the elephants to come in for a drink. All right, why don't we enjoy watching these elephant bulls have a good old drink while we have a bit of a quiet moment to listen to them sucking the water up, putting it into their mouths, listen to the sounds of these elephants as they're moving around. So while we're here, folks, at this pan where we were talking about cyanobacteria earlier, so they're obviously was an recent outbreak of this cyanobacteria, or kind of like fungi mold that grows on top of these pans in Lake Chavera, which did unfortunately kill 4 rhinos and a few other wildlife species. Fortunately, is a bit of a ripple effect of the cyanobacteria. So it is a obviously a toxic algae linked to pollution. So it is linked to pollution in some form. Zimbabwe Parks and Wildlife Management authorities have confirmed this last Friday. So this recent article was released on the 15th of December 2024. So yeah, very sad to see that these rhino have lost their lives from this cyanobacteria outbreak. The National Parks and Parks Authority have jumped on top of this case, and they have managed to disinfect the area, and they are investigating at the moment. So there are a lot of investigations at the moment out trying to solve this issue. So unfortunately, the cyanobacteria does have a bit of a ripple effect on the wildlife, and of course the livelihoods of some all kinds of animals and birds within an area. So yeah, contaminations like this have claimed quite a few lives. So not just the zebra, but I think not just the rhino. I think there were also 3 zebra, a few wildebeest, as well as some fish eagle and livestock that did succumb to this polluted water source. Again, this polluted water can come from quite a varied amount of sources. But yeah, they are trying to manage and control the area as quickly as possible so that they don't have any other cases. Um, uh, Very sad to hear about these rhino. Apparently, the last outbreak I was speaking about earlier was in 2019, and that's also when we did have a few elephants in Zimbabwe as well as Botswana that were also affected by this cyanobacteria. And there were a lot of kind of theories on how this bacteria is formed. I know there was a big theory on the wind direction on pans, and that it was only the wind was blowing this bacteria to only one part of the pan, so that's why only elephants were being affected. Um, but yeah, this does raise kind of a bit of an alarm for the lake's water levels or microbial toxic pollution. So yeah, they are working on this as quickly as possible in order to eliminate the chances of any more wildlife being affected by this water source. So yeah, unfortunately, these things do happen. Contamination from human sources can happen in some areas, but it is just quite interesting. Also, quite curious. I'm very curious about the fact that a lot of the cyanobacteria outbreaks of elephants in 2019 were in very remote areas where these elephants would have originally thought to have contaminated the bacteria. But I mean, elephants do cover quite large distances, and I mean, they could have possibly drunk from a contaminated water source at some stage. So, yeah, very sad to hear about those rhinos in Zimbabwe, but luckily they are working on controlling the contaminated water source as quickly as possible so that other species do not get affected. So, Bill, thank you for your comment. Yes, Gowrie Dam. I know they have had lots of problems with the elephants and being rather cheeky and just ripping up the pipes. So, yeah, elephants can be naughty from time to time. I remember one of my trip early in the year through Botswana, there was a lot of water pipes that were ripped up by the elephants, and they were forming their own little pans along this water pipe system. So, yeah, it can be a bit of a problem. Um, yeah, so but they can smell this water that's underground in the pipes and obviously traveling long distances without having water. If they have this incredible ability to sense and smell the water, of course, they're going to try their best to get to that nice clean water underground. And Catherine, yes, elephants are very intelligent and they are able to open water taps and water systems, and of course, can destroy anything to get to water. So, yes, very intelligent creatures can outsmart humans any day of the week. So, Wild Hearts, thank you for your update on the Lake Tavero cyanobacteria outbreak. So, yeah, unfortunately, I think, as you mentioned, is a lot of fish that are dying in that area as well. But as I said, the parks authorities, as well as a lot of veterinary um, uh, divisions within Zimbabwe, are doing a lot of work to make sure that they clear this dirty, contaminated water so that no more animal species are affected. So I hope that this will be attended to as quickly as possible so that we have no more animal lives that are lost to this terrible bacteria. Yeah, I'm just seeing some photos coming through here. It's quite terrible algae. So, Lake Josini also has a very high, I wouldn't say cyanobacteria, but a very high algae content in the water, which I'm actually surprised that they have not had any outbreaks in Lake Josini, close to the Swaziland border post there. Um, Obviously, yeah, they've got, because of all of the algae, it does affect a lot of the fish and aquatic life species within the area because it's difficult to oxygenate the water. I mean, this algae in some of these dams that might be also, again, can be caused due to contamination. So I think one of the main reasons for the buildup on Lake Josini is a lot of the runoff from the sugarcane plantations, which then washes some of these chemicals and bacteria into the lake itself. And it's almost like a thick layer of pea soup. That's the best way I can describe this algae buildup. And again, one, oxygenation of the water gets affected. Fish cannot breathe as well as they used to, so you get like a big die out of your fish population. Two, it does affect a lot of the aquatic birds within the environment because they are not able to nest on the shorelines and lakesides. It does affect a lot of the small microbial parasites and bacteria or healthy bacteria that would normally grow in the water source. So yeah, it can be very detrimental, but I know obviously they are working on solving a lot of these issues. So I do hope that there will be a very good conclusion and that all of these issues will be dealt with quickly. But yeah, um, very important to keep our wildlife as safe as possible. And yeah, be very sad to lose wildlife due to some human factors that could have been avoided. What else? I feel like there should be something in these skeleton trees. What little creatures could be lurking in these trees? Having a quick search, there might be some little slender monkeys running around, maybe some little mopani tree squirrels. This would be pretty cool. Elephants are still having the best time in this watering hole. So I'm just reading some press release and some press articles about this Lake Tavero cyanobacteria outbreak. So apparently there have been a lot of procedures that have been implemented and measures that have been taken to deter animals from drinking from these affected water sources and dam areas. And they have been placing alternative water sources and salt blocks away from this contaminated water. So yeah, it does look like there is a lot of effort being put into decontaminating and cleaning this contaminated water source. So yeah, hopefully we can always try our best to make sure we limit these outbreaks. This is also a perfect skeleton tree to take your scorpion torch to at night. I wonder how many scorpions will be lurking underneath the bark of some of these trees or in the holes. Sometimes it's best not to know. We had a scorpion infestation last month with all the rains coming. All the scorpions have to crawl out of their little holes, otherwise they'd be flooded, or also a perfect time for them to start coming out to feed. So my goodness, I must say I've never seen so many scorpions in my life. We were all sitting at the dinner table with our legs crossed and up on our camping chairs because everyone was too scared to have their legs on the ground with all these scorpions around. Oof, goodness gracious me. And if we have any scorpions lovers out there or snake lovers, I know when we get clients on safari, that's generally the two top things that people are afraid of. I recently had a client that was absolutely petrified of snakes. She, to the point where if you mentioned snakes, her skin would start to crawl, or if we walked past, we were on a riding safari, if we rode past a bit of a rocky outcrop, and there was some rocks, we a perfect place for rock python. She would, yeah, be very afraid to hang around, or yeah, she didn't even want to look in the direction of where snakes occurred. So please feel free to send through your biggest pet hate while on safari, or something you're very afraid of. Generally, you get scorpions and snakes, although I would say are the two top creatures that people are afraid of to visit when they're visiting Africa. So please send through your comments. I'd love to know what your least favorite creature is to see while on safari. In the meantime, while I give some time for those comments to come through, let's head back over to Tau Lodge, see what's happening with our crocodile. So we have a lovely view here of a couple of waterbuck. That one of these waterbuck, if you watched earlier in the shows, we had a very exciting moment here earlier in the show today where we had a crocodile that had managed to capture a wildebeest. So it was holding this wildebeest in his jaws by the nose. And yeah, unfortunately, because of the shallow waters here at Tau Lodge, the crocodile had a slight disadvantage and wasn't able to bring the wildebeest's mouth underwater in order to suffocate the wildebeest. So the wildebeest did manage to escape. Very lucky wildebeest. And then, yeah, the crocodile here, I think he's been definitely eyeing out. Apparently, there was an almost kill. He almost killed a zebra last week, and he was also eyeing out some of these waterbuck. Yeah, it's a shame. I think these poor crocodiles are starting to get rather hungry. So I'm waiting for your comments, folks, to send through. Please send through your comments about what is your least favorite creature that you hate to see on safari. I think my top three that I am not fond of, and most of my guests are not fond of, is definitely snakes, scorpions, and centipedes. I am also not a fan of the Kalahari Ferraris or the little solifuge. Oh, goodness gracious. They are not my favorite creature. Yeah, obviously, with the rainy season, there comes the pros and cons to traveling in the rainy season. One of the downsides of traveling in the rainy season is you do get all these little creatures coming out and about from the holes all over the place. We had a blister beetle infestation last month before my last clients arrived for safari, so we were a little bit nervous that they wouldn't clear up by the time everybody arrived. So it's this beetle that has a very acidic urine that it once it defecates onto your skin, it causes a chemical reaction where it actually burns your skin and forms nasty little blisters on your skin. So I did get two blister beetles got the better of me, and yeah, I've had a nasty little blister on my palm of my hand and on my back. So yeah, if you ever get urinated on by a blister beetle, please do not pop those blisters. It can actually spread and cause more blisters on your skin, and or actually just make it worse. So just try your best not to pop those nasty blisters. Send through those questions, those comments. I'm dying to hear what everyone's least favorite creature is while on safari. We've got a grey heron here also standing around just where our crocodiles were. So at the two crocodiles here, so after the almost kill, we then had the crocodiles look like they were mating or something was definitely happening there. Possibly a little bit of love in the air. It's like our white-faced whistling ducks hiding in the reeds. I do hope that this pan here at Tau lodge will fill up a little bit. I'm sure the crocodiles are thinking the same thing. It's very difficult for these crocodiles to hunt when the water is so low like this. Catherine, thank you for sending to your comments. I see that you do love snakes but are very scared of scorpions. Okay, I will surely keep that in mind. So I will often take my scorpion torch out on safari. It's really cool to go scorpion hunting at night, but if you have guests that are a little bit afraid of scorpions, it's maybe not the best idea because then you find out where all the scorpions like to live. So they often are quite territorial scorpions. They will hang out in the same little rock or crevice or hole in a tree. A lot of our lodges are built with the trees, old trees still inside the lodge or built around trees. And then you realize, oh my goodness, this tree that you've been eating dinner next to for the last 4 or 5 days has got 100 scorpions living inside. So maybe not the best idea with all your clients. Bill, sounds like you've had a bit of a bad experience with your scorpion friends. I don't blame you if you're not such a fan of them. But yeah, so you can get obviously stung by your venomous or non-venomous scorpions, but even your scorpions that are maybe not not too venomous, it still can be quite a nasty little sting, often followed by a lot of so it almost feels like pins and needles. So I did get stung by a scorpion once, and I must say, again, we could never find the scorpion, but we definitely knew it was a scorpion. So lots of pins and needles and burning sensations. So if you ever have those two things, you know it's probably a scorpion. If you can find the scorpion, that's always the best option. But don't go poking around and get stung again. Yeah, it did spread all the way up my arm into my shoulder and neck. So, yeah, it can be quite nasty. Some of these venomous scorpions. I know there are some scorpions that can actually kill people, but not. I think it's probably in Australia. I think in Africa, most of our scorpions here, you'd receive such little venom, it just will give you a bit of discomfort, a burning, and stinging sensation. So, yeah, what other creatures do you not like to see while on safari? Lovely to watch these wildebeest here, also roaming around. Probably just had a drink. Now I guess they're going to head to the closest watering hole for a bit of a, well, closest open grassland area for a drink. Not much grass for them to feed on around here. We've got a question here from Sandy Franklin asking when are snakes most mobile and active? So generally when temperatures rise, March and April is a good time for a lot of snakes to be out and about. Otherwise they do go through a bit of a um, ruminant or topaz state when they're kind of a lot less active during the winter and during the cold season. Also, you get a peak period just before the rains arrive. Again, they don't want to, snakes don't want to be in their holes when there's all that rain. Start moving out just before the rains arrive, and you know, whoop, the rains are coming. Where have our crocodiles gone to? Whoop! You got a monkey's tail. Looks like that little vervet monkey jumping on the fence close to the camera there, which can also look very much like a vine snake. I must say, be very careful of those vine snakes. So get that, give it a Google. A vine snake can be very well camouflaged and blends in very well with its environment. A few times I've mistaken a monkey's tail for a vine snake and almost had a bit of a heart attack. So we've got two grey herons here, close to where all the crocodile activity was earlier today, as well as a pied crow. Either coming down for a drink or scavenging to see if there's any carnage that he can pick up on. Where did those monkeys head off to? So you have seen these little vervet monkeys and baboons coming out into these kind of open grassy green patches to feed on a little bit of grass. Obviously, baboons, especially omnivorous. Monkeys are mainly herbivores, but I do see them from time to time coming down, feeding on this grass. So lovely to see a troop of baboons coming through. Have a bit of a munch. Also perfect green grass for Egyptian geese. So Egyptian geese do also like to feed on the tips of this lovely green grass here. Catherine, thanks for your story about your scorpions. I'm so sorry that you managed to wake up once with a scorpion on your face. I think I would have an absolute heart attack. But glad that you did not get stung. That could have ended quite badly. Bill, I guess that you are not a fan of wasps. I don't blame you. Bees, yes. Yeah, glad that you don't mind bees. Wasps can be quite nasty, I must say. At least bees, if they do sting you, it's just one sting. Whereas wasps, I've had a whole nest of wasps that got stuck in my hair once, ran into a tree, and then the wasps got stuck in my hair, and they just continue stinging. So they can be quite nasty, wasps and hornets. Cat fan, I guess you are not a fan of wasps and centipedes, which I will second you on that. I'm not a fan of wasps and centipedes. Yeah, especially those little centipedes. They can be give quite a nasty sting, especially if you're trying to look for the centipedes that are very venomous. So you do get the different colors of centipedes, but if you get a big centipede with a lot of blue coloration on its body, on the like outside, kind of outlining its body near its legs, that's a bit of a nasty centipede. I would definitely stay away from that. Still got our waterbuck that are really enjoying this nice lush green vegetation. I don't think they will be finding any green vegetation like this anywhere close by, so they're taking full advantage of this lovely green spot here. I know we're talking about spiders. A lot of people are not big fans of spiders. I love your kite spiders. Kite spiders are beautiful. They are really, really special spiders. They almost look like something out of a Spider-Man movie. You get them in black and yellow, black and orange, and I've seen black and red. Oh, and black and blue as well. So they're very cool looking little spiders. Very spiky on the outside. They generally have cast their webs across rivers and streams. That's how they catch insects that are flying above the water. But I'm not a fan of the hairy baboon spiders or jumping spiders. The flat wall spiders they're harmless, and a lot of guests not don't like them being in their room so much, but they're very good for being an anti insect deterrent. So they get rid of all the little creatures like your mosquitoes are very good at getting rid of mosquitoes from your rooms, but and mostly harmless. But yeah, there's some pretty nasty spiders out there. Your sack spider, your violin spider, oof, they can cause quite nasty wounds, a bit of necrosis. Yeah, generally it'll be in a bit of a ring shape. So, but the cases are quite rare, and as long as you're vigilant, very aware of especially your shoes. Be careful while putting on your shoes when on safari. Always make sure you tip out those shoes of yours. Never know what's waiting in there for you. It could be a spider, it could be a snake, or could even be a frog. My least favorite is a frog, or obviously a snake. But yeah, when there's a little frog inside your shoe, it's not the best thing to find. Oh, these waterbuck are having a lovely day. Just having a bit of a scan to see what else is out there just for the last few minutes of our show. Alrighty, folks, why don't we head across to Naledi and see what's happening with our elephants? We've got a nice. Oh, there's a tiny little baby elephant. My goodness, on the right hand side, that's just left the watering hole, just left the water trough. So it seems like it's time for the breeding herds to come through for a bit of a drink here today. We had some elephant bulls earlier, but now it looks like it's all these cows and babies that are visiting the pan. Oh, check with this little baby young elephant playing in the water. So yeah, lots of elephants. It's still very dry out there in a lot of our locations, especially Zimbabwe, Zambia, and Botswana. Still extremely dry. Shame. A lot of elephants are still dying out there. A lot of babies, a lot of mummies, a lot of elephant cows. So what's happened in a lot of areas where elephants might have kind of started moving, a bit of seasonal movement to areas with more water and food. Obviously, water is more abundant, but food is a bit of an issue now. So a lot of these areas that might have been very much overgrazed and overfed on during the dry season are now not as busy as they were in the dry season. But what has happened is in a lot of these areas, you get a lot of these females or cows with their young ones that they knew would not manage to survive the trip. They've still hung around in these very dry, remote areas, hoping for the rains to still arrive. So I do hope that the rainy season continues to bring us some fruitful rains and provide enough food for all these young elephants, just like these two elephants here. It's just so lovely watching these little elephants playing in the water. It's probably two siblings, so an older an older sub-adult and then a younger little baby elephant. So sounds like a Cape Glossy starling calling. Somewhere close by. Maybe we'll sit down for a drink. Bill, thank you so much for joining us today. It's been lovely having some new viewers with us today. And of course, I love having your questions, comments, and feedback. It's always great. It's been a lovely day here. Lots of elephant activity, lots of excitement. If you didn't watch the whole show, we had a crocodile almost taking down a wildebeest over at Tower Lodge, and then two crocodiles mating at Tower Lodge. Lots of elephant activity. Always looking for some new birds. Little bittern or dwarf bittern, which was also a pretty cool sighting at Safari Hook. Um, and yeah, elephants, elephants, and more elephants. Sorry, folks, we had a bit of a difficulty with our feed there. But, anyways, I just want to wish you all a very happy Tuesday from me and the rest of the Wilder team. Just want to wish you a lovely day, and I will see you same time, same place tomorrow. Don't forget to tune in to the Sunset Safari coming up next.